This is Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger, and you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is sponsored by The Forward. Stay up to date with unlimited access to news, culture, and opinion all through a Jewish lens. And for our listeners, for 2NJB listeners, get 6 months of The Forward for $15. Visit forward.com/partner offer and enter promo code 2NJB to get an exclusive offer for podcast listeners. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, IsraelNationalNews.com. And last but not least, in collaboration with Australian Jewish News, check them out at ajn.timesofisrael.com. Hello from the no longer bubble of Tel Aviv.
Yes, we are now officially war participants.
We're now officially Otef Aza, which means like the periphery of Aza.
Yeah.
They reached us. I saw a funny post on Facebook yesterday that I know who's on Facebook anymore, right?
Yeah, only you.
That people in there, it's like basically looking down on people in their bubble living in Hadera. Right?
yeah, in Jerusalem.
Yeah. So basically, for those of you who don't know, last night there was a heavy barrage on all of Israel, reached Tel Aviv. As far as Netanya, the sirens were
right.
going off. Crazy sights in the sky.
They had to hit your wife's family. That was
Yeah, they were going after the Shlomis. No, I was not involved. Okay, I condoned it. I condemned it.
He issued an official
apology.
Statement. Yeah.
Yes. No. So there was a heavy barrage. It's actually tragic. I think 3 people have died so far on the Israeli side.
More.
4. There were 2 women. There was a guy who died.
In Lod, you had a kid and a girl, and 2 people yesterday.
So we're not sure about the death toll currently.
I think it's more like 7.
Basically, there were a heavy barrage of rockets. There were riots, violent riots, all through Israel, mostly by Arab citizens. There were some Jewish riots as well. And yeah, things are not looking up. So we will talk about all this today. What we're going to talk about is the 5/6 big myths about this round of
and also
conflict.
Some stories from
and a couple of stories along the way,
recent
and we're going
days.
to dive right in very soon.
But
first,
we have sponsors.
Yes, we do. We have 2 very incredible sponsors.
We're going to have our sirens probably in a few minutes.
Very shortly.
Yes, because my sister is in Hulon.
Yeah,
and she just got to the shelter.
Okay, guys, so you're going to have to forgive us if we disappear for a minute. Yeah. You won't feel it because we're not live, so we'll cut it out.
Right. No.
Or will we?
Yeah.
We'll leave a little bit of it for the taste.
What they need to realize is that the Bob shelter is in -1, and we're on the 4th floor.
So we're going to get a little cardio.
Yeah.
Can I bring my beer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. So yes, we have amazing sponsors. Yes. 2 amazing sponsors.
First of all, we have
Masa Israel Journey.
Yes.
So if you guys are listening, you're probably interested in either Israel or Palestine. Okay? No, I'm kidding. You're interested in Israel. You probably have some interest in either coming here, experiencing Israel in some way. So this is perfect for you. MasaIsrael.org/2NiceJewishBoys. Okay, check them out. Basically, they give you opportunities to work and study.
There's a new link.
Okay. What do you mean? MasaIsrael.org/2nice.
No, sorry.
Yeah, that's the other one, man. Yeah. The forward.
I'm thinking about the sirens, yeah.
Okay. So if you guys are listening, that's good because you can cut out the Palestine part.
Yes.
They won't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. if you guys are listening, you probably have some interest in Israel.
Yes.
Well, Masa Israel Journey is perfect for you. You have to check them out. Masa Israel Journey. Masa Israel, you can find them at masaisrael.org/2niceJewishBoys. It's spelled out TWO, nice Jewish boys. They
And
give
why?
you
Why should they?
They give you amazing opportunities to study and work remotely from Israel. Okay, so this is really a place to live out your dreams, your passions. You can come to Israel basically and not stop your life, right? You can actually gain valuable experience here working. Tel Aviv's an amazing place with amazing startups. Okay, this is like the Silicon Valley, not just of the Middle East, but it's on par with.
And the hummus is so much better.
Oh, this hummus is amazing. So really, it's an amazing opportunity. I was on a Masa program. It's a big part of the reason that I'm here today. So visit them at masaisrael.org/TWO, nice Jewish boys.
Do not miss this opportunity.
Yes, you really shouldn't. And we'll see you here soon.
Yes.
We're on their website as an internship opportunity, so check it out.
Sure. Also,
we have a sponsorship from the Susie and Kevin Davis Foundation.
yes.
Kevin Davis is a huge friend of the podcast. He's an amazing guy, and his First Workings nonprofit is an even more amazing venture. Check them out, guys, at firstworkings.org. Okay? Basically, what they do is they support New York City's underserved community through its nonprofit, okay? Through the nonprofit First
amazing
Workings.
cause.
They basically arrange for these young kids paid internships, mentorships, and extensive workplace readiness training for very, very, very bright students from New York's public schools. It's a really amazing cause. Kevin Davis, he's an amazing, successful entrepreneur, and he decided to put a lot of his sweat and tears and money into this cause.
And it's changing the roots of these kids' lives.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So check them out, firstworkings.org. All right.
Okay. So before we dive to the 5 myths and before we run to the shelter, where were you last night?
We slept in the shelter. We started out we slept in we have a shelter. Some guy, listeners, our dear listeners, just a small explanation. In some buildings in Israel, the older buildings, you have a shelter on the bottom floor underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And in some buildings, in the new buildings, it's basically a requirement to add a shelter in the apartment or on the floor.
Right, a room.
Yeah, a room.
Dedicated room.
That's built with like thick steel
Mm-hmm.
and...
That's a
It's a bomb
privilege
shelter.
because then you can sleep there and you
Yeah.
don't need to run. You still wake up and you still hear them.
So it was a weird experience because we didn't have one of these in our previous apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have to walk out of the apartment into the floor. Obviously, we couldn't have slept there.
I don't follow.
It was in the previous apartment.
You had
It was one on the floor. Sometimes you have one that's a common room for a couple of apartments.
Yeah.
And then for older buildings, you have one that's common.
You could have
room
slept
for
there
all
with
buildings.
the neighbors.
And the homeless guys.
Could have turned into quite a night.
Yeah.
But
but no, we this time we slept in our bedroom, and then we woke up in the middle of the night at 3.
wait, your bedroom is your shelter?
No.
We
We slept in our bedroom. We had set up a mattress a spare mattress in the bomb shelter. Got up at 3 in the morning, went from one to the other, and I forgot the pillows, so I ran from the bomb shelter while the siren was running. I was like, I need my Tempur-Pedics. So I ran and got them and got our cat Luna. Actually, earlier in the night, I ran out to the balcony and got Luna, the cat, when the first sirens went out before, we went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw 2 Iron Dome missiles
Really?
coming up. Out of, I don't know where they shoot them from in this area, but
Yeah, it's secret. So.
yeah. But I just see them come out into the sky. It was pretty scary. What about you, though?
Yeah. Yesterday evening, there were some sirens, and we were recording a podcast with the stand-up comedian, so we had to stop in the middle and then ran there to the shelter.
A podcast?
Yes. I'm betraying you.
You have another podcast?
I do. I'm betraying you with someone else.
This is over.
Guys,
Guys, check it out, actually. Naor's other podcast.
no, it's in Hebrew.
Yeah, but, if they want to learn Hebrew.
My mom is asking me if there's alarm here.
No, Mrs. Menninger. No alarms yet.
Anyway, So and then from the adrenaline, I couldn't fall asleep. So I fell asleep at like 2 a.m. And then after an hour, it's the worst when they wake you up with the alarm.
Yeah,
with the sirens.
Yeah, it's awful.
You wake up, and then if you live here, you know you're sleeping, and then you gotta run 3 floors down. You are from sleeping to running for your life. It's very it's not fun.
It's shocking, and it's
And
really
then
is.
what they did for the first time ever, they wouldn't let us go back to sleep. So for an entire hour, they shot more and more missiles.
Yeah, and spread them out.
So that you thought that it's over, but then you had to go again.
They know that none of these missiles are really, like, hardly any of these missiles. Of course, like we said, there were deaths already.
Yeah,
on
they're
the Israeli
trying to
side.
test the Iron Dome.
But I think that they know that not many of these missiles are going to land, but they realize that there's a psychological effect to it as well.
And also they hope if they launch like 800 rockets in 48 hours.
Yeah.
So they hope it's rule of high numbers.
It's a game of numbers.
And some of them did hit direct hits in Lod, and
Bus. There was a direct hit to a bus. Thank
God
they all got out.
to an Ashkelon apartment,
To a huge fuel tank in Ashkelon as well, right?
Yeah.
That was basically on fire throughout the night.
So what should we do? You wrote me in the middle of the night. Can I quote?
Yeah.
When we were on WhatsApp in the middle of the night, and Eytan wrote me the following, and I'm quoting.
I'm probably going to be sorry about this. What did I write? Keep in mind, guys, this was 3 a.m. I don't even remember.
They need to raise Gaza to the ground.
I meant raise, like raise.
Raise them. Raise them up.
No, so that's actually a good place to start off from.
Yeah.
I think that's a feeling that a lot of Israelis have right now. They need to raise Gaza to the ground.
At least a neighborhood or two.
And, because Israel has been suffering a constant barrage of rockets for the past 15, 16 years, ever since we disengaged from the Gaza Strip. And they never learn, and there have been deaths. And we'll talk a bit about the disproportionality of casualties on both sides when we go over these myths. But yeah, it's a feeling, it's a sense that, we need to teach these guys effing lesson, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need to finally. I don't know if not 3 a.m. Eytan agrees with 3 a.m. Eytan. I don't know if it's actually strategically or tactically like a good idea to. Not that I have so much of moral qualms with it. I really don't. This is war. And in war, there are civilian casualties. And if Hamas wants to hide out like rats,
it's on them.
Underneath civilian areas and neighborhoods and schools and hospitals, that's on them.
Yeah.
If they want to fight like men, then there will be less civilian casualties. So it's not that I have moral qualms. I just don't know if it'll be effective. Right? They'll all hide out underneath the ground. We'll kill only innocent civilians, and then they'll all come up the next morning and attack just the same. So
not sure.
I don't know.
Only one way to find out.
It brings us to our first myth.
Okay.
Our first myth is this idea.
It sounds like it's very smart. We improvised this 5 minutes ago, guys.
No, we didn't. What are you talking about? We've been preparing this episode since last night. No, so our first myth is this horrific lie that's being spread through the mainstream media, even here in Israel, that this is
mainstream media. Am I right?
The myth is that this is a conflict between moral equals. So you'll see headlines in the New York Times: clashes, tensions rising, right? Conflict in the Middle East, Israel and Palestinians with deaths on both sides, right? And basically equating Israel to Hamas and Fatah and Islamic Jihad as moral equivalents. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about that?
Well, we're all human, so I guess there's that.
Yeah, but some humans are shittier than others.
Look, it is the facts are we are stronger, much stronger, and we have the higher grounds.
Yeah.
When it comes to, we have an army, we rule the land, allegedly. So it creates this illusion of even disproportionality, right? But the fact of the matter, in the end of the day, you got to look at actions and intentions, to me, right? We obviously are not interested in fighting with Gaza.
Yeah.
We're not interested. We're not against any Arab who wants to pray in Temple Mount. Our only...
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. I mean, if in another
in a
dimension,
weird way,
if they're in another dimension where they just come and pray peacefully, like...
In a weird way, we're against Jews praying on the Temple Mount.
I mean, we aren't, but yeah, they won't let Jews pray there.
We won't.
We won't.
We'll talk about that in myth number
okay.
3. This is all very organized.
What's this myth again?
This is conflict between moral equals.
Okay.
My main issue is if you like one, you could start from taking an outside perspective and saying, wait a second, let's look at these two sides and let's look at what they produce.
Yeah.
And then ask ourselves, right?
We have cherry tomatoes.
I really, cherry tomatoes and microchips. No, I really believe that this world is a just moral world for the most. And if you are a just moral human and you act like with responsibility, you will produce positive outcomes on the whole. That's especially true for cultures and societies.
Be right back.
Look at Israel. Right? Israel, first of all, it's a pluralistic society. We have Arab members of Knesset. We have an Arab Supreme Court justice. We have 20% of the population are Arabs, and there are zero discriminatory laws against them. The whole lie of apartheid is bullshit. Okay? All of that is true. While on the other side, Hamas is pushing gay people off of rooftops. They are...
Why go to gay people? Fatah is the political enemy of Hamas, right? Abu Mazen, Mahmoud Abbas.
They murdered them.
Yeah, they murdered them.
They murdered the political
gay people.
Rivals. Gay people baktana, as they say in Hebrew.
But, no, we're kidding, right?
But it's true. They murder without any
They're savages.
compunction.
They're savages. They're just savages.
They are complete savages. Their society, I mean, their culture, the ruling class, the leadership, the people who are reigning right now are absolute savages. And we'll talk about the general statement of they are savages in myth 6. Okay.
There are 5 myths, but we'll talk about this one in
but in myth 6. Yeah. But if you just look at those two sides, you have to ask yourself, if it is not abundantly clear to you which side holds the moral high ground here.
Apparently it's not so clear, because in Twitter today, Gaza under attack trend with millions of tweets, and Israel under attack just hundreds of thousands of tweets.
Yeah.
So obviously it is not clear to the common man.
So I would be less perturbed by that if I didn't know that there were millions of Muslims. I would be more perturbed if I didn't realize that there were billions of Muslims around the world. So they outnumber us. So that maybe makes sense. But what really bothers me is the fact that it's the mainstream media in the United States and in so-called Western society and in Israel that actually trends these ideas, right?
Yeah.
It's just awful. So
did we debunk the myth at all?
So that's first. And then the second part is looking at the actual conflict. Okay. And realizing, and this ties into a different myth, but maybe we'll bundle them together.
Okay.
is that there is a disproportionality to the amount of deaths on the death toll on either side, right? So far there are tens, less than maybe 10 or maybe 10 deaths in Israel, while there are tens of, if not over 100 deaths on the Palestinian side. But that disproportionality is nothing. I mean, The reason, first of all, for that disproportionality is because Hamas hides in schools and in hospitals and shoots from behind civilian areas. This is proven.
Also, we protect ourselves better.
And
we have the technology. We have
the
Iron Dome.
technology, but this is proven. Go look. I mean, Hamas shoots rockets from within schools where they don't allow the kids to leave, meaning they shoot them from places where they force civilians to be.
Rooftops of buildings, civilians' buildings.
So this is what we're dealing with on one hand. And on the other hand, you have to ask yourself, wait a second, why only 100 deaths? If Israel is such a barbaric, disproportionate, and has absolute disregard for human life, why is there only 100 Palestinian deaths right now? Israel absolutely has the ability to completely flatten Gaza to the ground and kill every single human being that's in there. With very little effort. Very little effort, Israel could annihilate the Gaza Strip. So why haven't we done it?
Many Israelis ask themselves that. It's got to be said.
Because we hold the moral high ground and we actually have restrained.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you don't go to the grocery store with morals.
Yeah, you don't. No, definitely not in Gaza. You don't go to the grocery store with morals in Gaza. So that's myth number one.
Okay.
What's myth number two?
Tell me. Please tell me. Oh.
You got to read my ugly handwriting.
Oh, God. It's because Israel is... What? Strictly the freedom?
No, it's because because Jews are engaged in ethnic cleansing, right? There's the whole Sheikh Jarrah thing, right?
Oh, right. So today I had an argument about that. So some people claim, because a few days ago there's a right-wing Knesset member, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and he decided to create this improvised office in Sheikh Jarrah, which is an eastern Jerusalem neighborhood, which is under lots of tension because you have some Jews who bought houses there, and then you have Arabs who sued them. They want the houses back from 48. It's very, 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 very complicated. But right now, the latest judiciary decision was that the Jews can stay there, that it's legal that they bought those buildings. But anyway, it's under... And
that they can evict the Palestinians.
Yeah.
The issue is basically...
But it's still going to Supreme Court. Supreme Court
being appealed. But basically, in short, the issue is that the Jews... I mean, this neighborhood was owned by Jews back in 1870. That's
parts
fact.
of it.
Yeah, but these buildings were owned by Jews back in 1870. They were bought. And, I mean, much of this neighborhood was bought by Jews back in the 1870s. Mm-hmm. It's called Shimon HaTzadik. And they held it up until 1948. In 1948, in the War of Independence, the Jordanians conquered parts of Jerusalem, and this fell into the Jordanians' hands. And then back in 1967, we reconquered it.
Right. And also, there's a problem in those neighborhoods that the Palestinian Arabs who live there, they are in a very bizarre situation because they don't have an Israeli citizenship. They don't vote for the Knesset. But they aren't really Palestinian Authority citizens either. They're like in the gray area.
Yeah.
But
let's get to the myth.
Yeah, so the myth is because Itamar Ben-Gvir provoked the local Arabs in Sheikh Jarrah by putting this office up a few days ago, that caused the riots that then caused Hamas to start the war, etc., etc., etc. And
it's reminiscent, of what the 2000 and I think it was 2000 or 2001 when Ariel Sharon went to the Temple Mount, and Ariel Sharon single-handedly set off the second Intifada.
There will always be an excuse, right? If you want to kill Jews, you'll always find an excuse in the Middle East.
Yeah.
If it's not this, it's that. If it's not
that, it's this.
Yeah.
It's always something else, right?
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, they want us dead.
Yeah.
They want us dead. And like I tried to explain my Italian friends yesterday, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because it's so complicated to understand, right? If you're a foreigner. And I told her, if you want to understand it simply, it's about a simple question. Who rules the land? Whose land is it? That's in the end of the day, this is what it's all about, right? This is the most... Why do they want to kill us? Because they don't want us here. They want to rule the land. I mean, that's to me the most basic.
But that kind of goes to the first myth, where it kind of paints a picture like we're both fighting for the same cause, and we're maybe using more force and therefore killing more people, so we're the bad guys.
I mean, define cause. We want the same. Both of us want the other side to lose in the war on the land, but they lost. They lost it already, but they won't give up. That's what all those wars are.
Yeah, but I don't think from the beginning there is a problem in their claim to the land.
For sure.
I mean, Jews own much of the land in Israel.
I'm with you.
And Jews never tried to steal the land from Arabs until the Arabs attacked in the War of Independence. And then a war broke out.
True.
And many of them fled and the land was conquered.
But still, for them, it's about the land. It's about the land.
Yes, but their idea of reclaiming the land is killing innocent people.
Yeah, of course. How else do you get land?
Israel would never, even though it has the ability... No, what do you mean how else? How the Jews originally got the land, which is by buying most of it from Arabs.
Yeah, but usually
and from other organizations.
Throughout history, you usually get land by killing a bunch of people.
Not the Jews, because we're smart and we're moral.
Well, yeah.
What I'm saying is that if the Jews wanted to employ the same tactics that they are, the same tactics that they are in order to claim the land, then all of the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza would be dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the Palestinian
we did
Authority,
the opposite. We withdrew from the land.
Yeah.
In the disengagement, right?
Yeah.
We gave up on land.
We gave up in Gaza. We gave up in
Judea and Samaria.
In Judea and Samaria. We're about to get to it. We gave up on the Temple Mount. So I want to make clear, though, that Sheikh Jarrah was, first of all, a civil dispute. It's in the civil courts. It's not some political decision that was brought down through the executive branch or anything. It was, or through the military. It is a civil dispute in civil court, and the court decided that basically the issue is, by the way, it's actually interesting if you look into it. These they all note that the property was owned by these Jews who are claiming it, right? They all agree that happened. And then they all claim that some guy named Ismail, apparently, four of them claim, four other people who are appealing.
Very good guy.
All claim that some guy named Ismail sold, not even sold, gave it to them. But they can't say who this guy is. They have no idea. So basically the Supreme Court is looking at these jokers and they don't have any actual claim to the property and saying you don't have claim. These guys have actual claim, meaning they have documents that say this property was sold to us.
Yeah.
And we're claiming it back. And basically the problem is that they're not paying rent, so they're getting evicted. So it's a civil disagreement. There have been
it's just an excuse, guys.
There have been these in the past, but they've never set off.
Right. It's an excuse, and yeah, so myth debunked.
Myth debunked.
Next myth. We need some special effects.
Yeah. Pew pew pew. So myth 3. Do you have one?
Maybe.
A little. That's the one that's the.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Let's see what we have here. No. Oh, there we go. Oh my God. So yeah, we're gonna find a tune for the debunking of the myth in just a second. Let's see how myth debunked.
Nice. That's good too. This is too good. How do we not discover this earlier? Oh, it's so good. That's so good.
Myth
debunked. Next myth is number 3. It's because Israel is restricting the freedom of worship on the Temple Mount.
Oh my God. Guys, check out the episode we did with Ophir Dayan about the Temple Mount. She's an advocate for Jews, the Jews, also with a former member of Knesset. We'll post the links. But Yehuda
Glick.
Glick.
Yes.
But basically, Temple Mount is holy to the Arabs, to the Muslims.
It's the third holiest
The
place
third
in
holiest
Muslim
place.
in the Muslim
And
religion.
it's also holy for the Jews.
It's the number one holiest place in the Jewish religion.
And
No, or it's like,
Palestinians-
that's just a bunch of crap. Who cares?
Yeah.
Third, first.
I'm very
it's-
secular, so
yeah.
it doesn't mean much to me. But Muslims pray there, and now during the Ramadan month, they prayed there. Like you had 70, 80,000 Muslims praying there, and Jews can rarely go there. It's very hard. They need to be protected. And now during the recent days, they wouldn't even let Jews in.
Yeah.
We didn't let, because we rule Temple Mount in theory, but in practice, they actually
in
rule it.
practice we give control to the Waqf.
Yeah, Jordanian.
Yeah, Jordanian
like
religious
puppet.
Yeah, basically.
But this really is the essence. This is really where things got escalated, right? They went to Temple Mount, and they knew they're gonna wage war on us.
Yeah.
They stocked piles of rocks inside the mosque, and ammo and fireworks, and they longed for war. Blood.
And you know what? After the next myth, we'll talk about what this actually maybe is really about. But yeah, the idea that it's about the Temple Mount is ridiculous. The idea that we are restricting worship on the Temple Mount is ridiculous.
It's true in the sense that they used Temple Mount. They wanted it to become a place of war. They turned it into a place
yeah.
And then they used the war that they brought upon Temple Mount to start all
More
the wars.
Yeah, but
So-
what I'm saying is the myth is that
We
Israel
are
is
to blame.
restricting the Israel is igniting the flames by basically implementing apartheid, right? Because
Yeah.
it's discriminatory laws
Yeah.
against freedom of religion,
Yeah.
against the Arabs.
So
but
just-
the fact of the matter is that a Jew, first of all, as Naor mentioned, in the past couple of weeks, we're not allowed. They closed off
Yeah.
access to the Temple Mount. But as a rule of as an actual rule, that since 1967, since it was. Actually, I'm not sure about the dates, but in the last decades at least, I'm pretty sure it's since 1967, the rule on the Temple Mount is that a Jew is not allowed to pray. Meaning if you go on the
can't
Temple
pray,
Mount,
you can't hold the flag
you can't pray though. So the freedom of religion...
because you hurt their feelings.
Yeah, if you go on, you can hear countless accounts, and you can actually watch this on YouTube. A Jew praying on the Temple Mount. Ben Shapiro just talked about it. The whole idea, the Ariel Sharon and all that. All of these people go up there and they start praying, and that causes issues.
They're very sensitive.
But you
very
see,
sensitive.
I want to just describe for you guys what happens. A Jew goes up. What they do is they pray on their phone so that people don't
they're
notice.
surrounded by security forces usually.
Well, if it's a prominent Jew, right?
Yeah.
But if it's a regular Jew, you go up, you maybe try and pray on your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, the guards of the Waqf run up to you. A lot of Arab women sometimes come up to you and start yelling, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and they start yelling at you. And then usually, the Israeli police comes and arrests you.
Takes you out.
You are not allowed to pray on the Temple Mount.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just one of the most ridiculous myths in the world, that the Israeli authorities are restricting religion on the Temple Mount, and that's what's causing this shit.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, myth
Debunked.
Oh,
It's so good. But it's not a good... No, we need the...
myth
Debunked. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a joke one, but whatever. We'll use them.
Okay, what's the next one?
Number 4. It's
Yes.
Bibi's fault.
Oh. That's always true, right? It's always Bibi's fault.
It's always a myth.
Always Bibi's fault. Always Bibi's fault.
So what's the claim here, though?
The claim is that because now, guys, if it isn't complicated enough, the mandate to form a government went to Yair Lapid, the left-wing leader, and he has like 2 more weeks to form a government, or 3 weeks to form a government. And so Bibi, in order to prevent Lapid wanted to form a government with Bennett, from the right wing, and an Arab party of a guy called Mansour Abbas, who wanted to join the government for the first time in Israel's history and to help his Arab voters. So the theory says that Bibi started this war, this escalation, to prevent Abbas from being able, the Arab member of Knesset, from being able to join an Israeli government, and thus failing Lapid's chances to form a government. And if Lapid fails to form a government in the next 3 weeks, the mandate goes back to the Knesset, and then we have fifth elections, and then Bibi stays the prime minister for a few more months.
Wow.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
So he basically wants, he'll sacrifice Israeli citizens. He is the brother of Yoni Netanyahu. He will, for his political survival's sake, he will
wage war
and kill, have dozens and hundreds of Israeli soldiers killed in battle,
potentially
hundreds, so that he can stay on the prime minister's seat for several more months.
What a ridiculous load of
Guys,
bullshit.
if you think that's anecdotal, this myth, no. You have no idea in Israeli Twitter how many prominent lefties and journalists really...
Anybody center or left believes it.
Yeah.
Even I mean, people who I know who are center, who are even maybe sort of right almost, believe it.
Yeah. And also, there's the even worse argument is that even if it's not true, this conspiracy theory, what does it say about Bibi? It's his fault that people think that about him in the first place.
Oh, God, that's awful. I haven't heard that one yet. That's just such a...
What does it say about him that people are willing to believe this? It's an endless loop.
Twisted load of mindfuck bullshit. Like, well, what does it mean if he doesn't think that people don't think it while he's thinking about it? Though?
Oh, it means bad things.
It's awful. It's just a ridiculous claim, flat out. I mean, without any evidence to back it up, right? Because what you're claiming is that the person is actually...
He needed to conspire with Hamas in order to achieve this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. What did he do? So the idea, right, is that he limited the prayer in the two things we just talked about.
Yeah.
Which are completely unrelated to him.
He asked Itamar Ben-Gvir to withdraw.
Yes.
By the way, we didn't talk about it, but he asked Itamar Ben-Gvir...
From Sheikh Jarrah.
Yes,
this is the MK from an extreme right party that went to Sheikh Jarrah, the neighborhood with the eviction.
Right.
And is claimed to have provoked the violence.
Yeah, so he asked him to withdraw from there, and he did. He wouldn't allow, in Jerusalem Day, he wouldn't allow Jews in Temple Mount. So
he also they put up barricades in Temple Mount, right?
Yeah.
At first, because they're actually worried about terrorists infiltrating.
And
he took them down.
And they changed the course of the Jerusalem Day. There's a parade, yeah. So that it won't provoke he did things that his base didn't like.
Yeah.
Just to de-escalate. But Hamas just... shot the rocket. And Lod, we got to talk about Lod. We got to move on. Man. So, guys, anyway.
Listen, but wait. One last note on this. Yes. It's just, it drives me crazy that the left, this claim that Bibi is a warmonger who basically uses war in a cynical way to play the political game is just bullshit. I mean, look at the last 10 years. Under Bibi, we have had the least amount of deaths, the least amount of deaths by both war and by terrorist acts. It is the calmest decade in Israeli history under Bibi. And the left depends on war for basically all they rest on is this myth of quote unquote peace, right? They're just driven after peace.
Yeah.
What do you need in order to be driven after peace? You need war. So, I mean, it's just unbelievably ridiculous. Myth debunked. It's kind of bad for us, though, because that's the tune you make after someone makes an unfunny comment or says something not true.
Yeah, you think? No, it's bad news for the myth.
For the myth. For the upholders of the myth.
Exactly.
Okay, I see. Yalla, moving on.
Yeah.
Myth number 5.
Yeah.
But should we maybe talk about why it's actually all this is happening? Because of the Palestinian...
What's all this?
All of this shit. Why it's actually going down.
Didn't we talk about it?
Okay, we'll do myth 5, and then we'll talk about
it.
Okay. Myth 5 is you can hear it nonstop, and this is going to be really controversial, so brace yourselves. But you can hear nonstop in the Israeli media and mainstream media around the world.
Eytan is not bisexual.
I am not bisexual.
Checked.
Okay.
And debunked.
Because I am both a man and a woman, so I am not bisexual. No, I'm kidding. Basically, you can hear in the mainstream media, both here and around the world, that this is just a small group of extremists, right? This is just a tiny group of extremists.
Don't let the small group
influence the way you think about the
they
greater
do not
population.
Represent.
They don't. This is just extremists. It's extreme Islamic radicals, right?
Yeah.
There's no problem with Islam.
So I got into an argument with my friend Ori. I told you exactly about that, right? You had videos from Temple Mount. You see 70,000 people in Temple Mount a couple of days ago chanting death to Israel and all kinds of
in blood and in spirit we will
and what my friend says to that, he says, but did you go one by one and check if each one said chanted? No, you didn't, so you don't know how many.
And the ones that said yes, did you ask them if they're lying?
No, you did not. You did not.
Did you ask them? Maybe someone's got their family
hostage. You show the guy a film of tens of thousands of people
They're
screaming,
also,
"We want you,
Tel Aviv."
Yeah, we want you dead." And he goes, "Yeah, but you don't really know. Maybe some of them were just standing there and they didn't participate."
Maybe they're like, "Oh, he wants them dead. He wants them dead. So yeah, I'm just gonna."
So fine, okay. So not 70,000, so 40,000. Okay.
No, but that's exactly the point. It's not 40,000 and it's not 70,000. It's much, much more than that. So there was a poll done by the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, of 100 nations and territories, and they questioned them. And in the Middle East, some of the results are absolutely insane. Let me just read you some of the questions on the survey. Jews have too much power in the business world. The Middle East and North Africa, 73%. Agreed with that statement. Jews are more loyal to Israel than to this country, to the country they live in, right? Egypt, Jordan, whatever. There's hardly any Jews there, but 74%. Jews have too much power in international financial markets, 72%. Jews don't care what happens to anyone but their own kind, 68%. Jews have too much control over global affairs, 68%. Jews have too much control over the United States government, 72%.
That's amongst Palestinians.
People hate Jews because of the way Jews behave, 75%. No, this is North Africa and the Middle East.
Okay.
But in their poll, they also found that 93% of Palestinians hold anti-Semitic beliefs.
That's the key point.
Okay.
Also, I found this poll from
Yes.
2010 and from 2017. In 2010, you have it written?
Yeah, 50% of Israeli Arabs will not recognize Israel.
Yeah, that's...
refuse to recognize Israel. 2/3 of Israeli Arabs won't compromise on the right of return, which basically means the extinction of Israel. That's from the Saban Center. And 85% of Arabs actually support the right of return.
Right.
These are from 2010, 2015.
What's more to be said? That's the number. So to me, if 2/3 of Israeli Arabs and was it of Israeli Arabs? Yeah, Israeli Arabs support the right of return. It means 2/3 of Israeli Arabs want me dead. They want me dead because right of return cannot go along with me being here happy and safe.
Now let's get this straight. This does not mean that 2/3 of Arabs deserve to die, or that we condone violence against them, or that or that I even believe that they are willing to go out and commit acts of violence.
No.
I don't think that the great majority of Israeli Arabs actually want to go out and commit violence, but I do believe that the vast majority of the Palestinian community and the Muslim community at large, the global Muslim community, support radical ideas, radical violent ideas. They are on board with it. They won't do it themselves, but they support it.
No, they won't condemn it.
They won't. They will praise it.
Yeah. You said
Even
now
more.
with the representative of Knesset, except for one from Meretz, Isawi Fridge, who was the only one to. Do you hear the sound, or it's only me? No, in the headphones, some background noise. No, so it's only
you
mine.
can't say that these times.
Sorry.
Do you hear a sound?
So except Isawi Fridge, who went and talked against violence and was very upfront about it. The rest of the Israeli Arab members of Knesset would not condemn.
I heard Ayman Ude actually did come out in the end, but it took him like hours. No,
if you read what he said,
he did not.
No, not really.
Don't
not
find
really.
that hard
He said,
to believe.
I condemn violence
in general.
In general,
just not against Jews.
Yeah, violence is bad. We're against violence from all sides, right?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely abhorrent, horrific, disgusting. And if it's not clear to you who's on the right side of this, then what can I say? You're absolutely blind. It's just
we got to talk about
just to close this myth down.
Yeah.
Think about it, guys. These aren't you don't ascribe ascribe to a religion that condones the killing of infidels and that is so plagued by radicalism and by violence. Just because you think, I don't know, it's a cool thing to be a Muslim. No, many of these people hold very problematic beliefs. And it's a lie to believe that it's just a group of extremists.
And many of them would very easily go to violent means, right? It's so easy. And we saw it on Lod yesterday.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about it.
Well, when there's structural problems, then the extremes are going to be greater and going to be, more.
So we got to talk about Lod for a second.
Yeah.
So Lod is a city.
Myth.
Oh, God, this never ends.
What's
What's
myth.
the last one?
Myth.
Debunked.
Okay. It's the worst sound effect ever. Okay, yes. Lod.
Lod is a city, guys. 50-50. 50% Arab, more or less, right? 50% Jewish. And it's 15 minutes from here by car. And it turned into a war zone. So not only Lod, in Akko, you saw they burned this restaurant. The Arabs burned a restaurant. Uri, if you guys know. Ramle, Haifa, all throughout Israel. Kafar Kana.
Israel is, some of Lod's mayor called it a civil war.
This annoys me, by the way. I just tweeted today, you can't call it a civil war, because when you use the word civil war, you equate, right? It's kind of, there are both sides, right? No, It's not civil war. It's riot. It's a riot of...
civil disobedience that needs to be put down, but is not.
Yeah, no, but it's not like there are two equal sides here.
Yeah.
You have the
Jews, two sides having an argument and fighting it out.
The Jews of Lod, guys, found themselves attacked by their neighbors.
There were horrific sides.
Pogrom like in Poland. So their neighbors, because they're raging, right? They are so raging. They simply went out, burned cars, threw rocks, raised havoc.
Yeah.
Havoc.
You shared a video on Twitter of a horrific sight of Jews evacuating the synagogue of their Torah scroll because they were afraid it would be burned.
And they burned synagogues, guys. They burned synagogues in an Israeli city. Okay? It's just crazy.
It's baffling. A guy from my work, his son's school was burnt.
Yeah, and here's the most annoying part. The police was nowhere. People called the police. They never showed up. They just let those savages. They went Genghis Khan on the city.
But I have to say about the police that there is a good argument here that the police all in total in Israel is apparently about 30,000. Okay, so this might have been too out of control for the police to crack down on. What really should have been done. They might have just needed to implement martial law, meaning put a segel, put a lockdown, finally an actual justified lockdown.
Yeah.
and bring the military in.
They did it yesterday night, but it didn't seem. Let's see what happens tonight. But the thing is, some of the Jews in Lod have weapons, so they went out to protect. Like the Arab savages, they threw Molotov cocktails right on houses. So some Jews went out to protect the buildings, right, because you had women and children, and they had to protect themselves. So they shot some of the rioters, and they're all arrested. They're now in jail. 5 people. Some of them only shot in the air, and they're arrested. And none of the Arabs in Lod were arrested.
It's unbelievable.
So, for me, it's
a shame. It's baffling, and it's just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Israel's not in a good way,
so
guys.
we're facing a war from within, and there's an enemy from within and an enemy
from outside.
Yeah, it's very, very complicated. And the problem is, what's the long-term scenario here? Like, how can those Jews in Lod continue? There were stories, guys, of people in Lod going out and they saw their neighbor who just yesterday they got the vad bayit, right? How do you say it in English? The condominial
property
fee.
Management.
Yeah,
property management fee.
Yesterday you took from this neighbor the fee for the building, and today he's burning your car. He's burning your car.
Which, yeah. It just, I mean, you don't see riots on this scale when it's just a small extreme group.
Yeah.
You don't see riots of this scale. You don't see demonstrations of this scale. This is what the majority of the Arab Israeli population want.
I don't know how big this majority is, right? We don't know. I don't think...
I'm convinced that a large majority of meaning not just 51%, like 70%, close to 70% of the Israeli
support the
Arabs
violent riots.
Support the overthrow of Israel. I don't know if they support these violent riots, but I would not be surprised if they do.
I want to hope it's less than 70%. We can't know. But
you can
it's
when
not...
93% of them believe these awful things. When 50% of Israeli Arabs will not recognize the state of Israel. When 50% of Israeli Arabs won't recognize the state of Israel, then obviously they'll be happy to see Israel fall.
Right.
If I saw Iran right now in a lot of turmoil, I would be happy.
Yeah.
I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I think it's great that a evil regime falls, and that's how they see it. If they see it as an evil regime, they're happy.
Gal Gadot.
Oh man, let's read her tweet.
She was silent, right? Everybody were talking about. By the way, guys, just so you know, there's a good chance Tarantino was running to the shelter last night, also, right? Because he lives in Tel Aviv.
There's a fake picture going around, which is hilarious. But there's actually a chance that he was. He lives in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
So you got to think what the guy's thinking to himself. What the fuck have I done?
This is not worth it.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe. You are not worth it.
You're pretty, but not that pretty.
But Gal Gadot, everyone were expecting to hear what she has to say. And just a couple of hours ago, after days of silence, she tweeted the following.
Made a tweet. This is a vicious... sorry, hold on. My heart breaks. My country is at war. I worry for my family, my friends. I worry for my people. This is a vicious cycle that has been going on for far too long. Israel deserves to live as a free and safe nation. Our neighbors deserve the same. I pray for the victims and their families. I pray for this unimaginable hostility to end. I pray for our leaders to find the solution so we live side by side in peace. I pray for better days.
This is some PR.
Dumbass lies of the two-state solution. That's the title of this. Stupid lies that dumb people believe.
Violence from both sides should end. Stop. Right?
Yeah.
She condemns
our
violence.
Neighbors deserve the same. Like, if you had a serial killing rapist living next to you, would you be like, he deserves to live in peace? These are Ah. And now people are going to be like, serial killing rapists? Yes, these are evil people who commit murder of innocent people. So yes, they can be compared to serial killing rapists.
That's a compliment for rapists.
It's a compliment for serial killers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then our friend Amir Adaki.
So yeah, we have a buddy from film school who tweeted, I said, okay, so it has to be explained. Gal Gadot tweeted this and like with a certain background and in the font that the typewriter font.
Yeah.
Like scripts are written in. So he did it with the same background, so it's clear what he's talking about. And he wrote, I sad. I want Israel good. I want people good. I don't want war. I want peace. I hope things good. Don't sad. Please let's good. It's funny. That's funny.
This I support.
This I support.
This is a good, yeah.
Oh man. Guys, Israel is not a great place. Yeah.
We're in deep shit.
We're in deep shit.
Let's say that.
Pray for us.
Pray for us.
And
this might be the last episode of Two Nice Jewish Boys.
Yeah. Not if you donate, though. So go to 2njb.com/donate and help us out.
Eytan's girlfriend is sure he will die here tonight.
My wife.
Yeah, wife. Sorry. She's also your girlfriend.
Yes. She's soon to be widow. No, so she didn't want me to leave tonight because she was sure I was going to get hit by a rocket. Like, dead on. The worst possible outcome is what she believes is most likely to happen.
Well, thank God we had your sperm frozen in my fridge.
You weren't supposed to tell people about that. It's really awkward. Okay.
Doesn't everybody do it?
I have a bunch of vials in my fridge. That's disgusting.
All my friends.
That's disgusting. I think we should end now. Okay.
I wanted to end on a nice, on a nice
spermy note. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
Remember, before we go,
yeah,
we are sponsored by The Forward.
Yes, thank you, The Forward.
Yes, The Forward is a great place for news, opinion, all through a Jewish lens.
You have the new link, you remember it?
Forward.com/ No, I don't know. I will find it, though, in 4 seconds.
In the meantime,
we'll talk about The Forward and how great they are.
Yes, guys, check out The Forward. They have great content in English. And they have a great mailing list, so subscribe to their mailing list, and great writers and highly recommended content. We have it. The link.
Go to forward.com/partner offer and use the promo code 2NJB. Forward.com/partner offer, promo code 2NJB, and you get 6 months for $15.
Yep.
That's a crazy, crazy deal. Okay.
Yep.
Exclusive offer for 2NJB listeners. Again, forward.com/partner offer, promo code 2NJB.
Also, Arutz Sheva, guys.
Yes, IsraelNationalNews.com.
Highly recommended, especially now when you got to stay updated. Yes. Check them out. They are here in Israel and they post great content in English. So including ours. Yes, Arutz Sheva on Facebook and IsraelNationalNews.com. And lastly, in Australia, the Australian Jewish News, AJN.timesofisrael.com. Check them out there for the Australian perspective. We accept donations to njb.com/donate. Help us out. We do this on our free time. And Eytan's beer costs money. Yes, it does, guys. And keep me drunk. I'm funnier that way. We love you guys. Stay safe. Yeah. Hope for better days. Bye. And thank you, Hamas, for not shooting rockets and disturbing this episode. Yes. This episode is sponsored by Hamas. Bye, guys. Bye.